Herzlich willkommen.
Welcome to Stad Schafhof in Kronberg. The gates here are always open for breeders and friends for the stallions of the stud.
Das Gestüt ist immer geöffnet.
Matthias. Here we are in the treasury of Gestüt Schafhof. The first one we see is directly one we know very well and the famous one, as you almost must say. The silverware of the stud, sired by the unforgettable Totilas. Matthias, what does this stallion mean to you?
Was bedeutet der Hengst für dich?
Gut, Thiago ist für uns.
Thiago is very special to us because on the one side there is Totilas, but on the other side there is a stam Vahayama Unicef. Both were Grand Prix horses here on the Schafhof.
Describe him a little bit. How is he in the daily work?
He's a very ambitious horse, which is fantastic to educate. This year he will still compete in a small tour, but he already shows fantastic approaches for the Grand Prix level. We are very much looking forward to the following years with him.
Für den Grand Prix Sport und freuen uns auf die nächsten Jahre.
Opposite Thiago stands this beautiful chestnut destacado. Your mother told me that for you it feels like holiday every day when you ride him. Is that true?
Seele baumeln lassen. Ist das so, wenn man ihn reitet?
Ja, das ist wirklich so.
Yes, definitely. To work with Destacado is simply amazing. He makes it very easy for the rider, learns incredibly quick and easy. He's a little bit the nerd when it comes to our stallions. With his 8 years of age, he already celebrated unbelievable successes and reached his goal level every year.
Von diesem
From this beautiful chestnut onto a black lacquer youngster. From the KWPN in the Netherlands, Maddox Smart. What brought him to the Schafhof?
I discovered Maddox Smart last year on the Stallion Show in the Netherlands and was fascinated by his movement potential. With Bordeaux and Ferro, he got 2 Grand Prix fathers on the dam side, and with the German De Niro blood, he's incredibly precious for the breeding.
Gesichert mit dem deutschen De Niro Blut macht ihn einfach für die Zucht unheimlich wertvoll.
A beautiful face with a lot of character. Just like Maddox Smart, he is only 4 years old. Fiducioso, a son by foundation. What makes him so special to you?
Fiducioso inherited a lot from his father. His temperament is fantastic. His eagerness to move delights us every day. He improved amazingly last year and got a lot of strength. We are looking forward to his future.
Und wir freuen uns auf die Zukunft mit ihm.
24 years young and still fresh, painted black, a world star of the international dressage arena for many, many years. How does a typical day look like for this Grand Seigneur?
Auf dem Schafhof dieses Grand Seigneurs.
Painted Black is going on the paddock grass field and gets walked a lot. Well, thanks to Morgan Barbercon-Mestre, we are happy that we can offer him to our breeders. He already had a great demand last year, and this year he had 4 fantastic approved sons at the Stallion Show in the Netherlands. We are really looking forward to this year's breeding season with him.
Wir freuen uns auf die diesjährige Decksaison.
There are stallions where you just feel an inside joy. What an appearance, the KWPN stallion Bretton Woods. For what kind of mares does he fit?
Typ, das fragen ja auch viele Züchter. Für welchen Stutentyp würdest du ihn in ganz besonderer Weise empfehlen?
I would recommend Bretton Woods to every breeder who would like to improve the type of his mare, who would like to bring more size and frame into it, but especially his movement potential, which he inherited amazingly well. So every breeder who would like to sustainably improve his breeding cannot do anything wrong by choosing Bretton Woods.
Nachhaltig seine Zucht verbessern möchte, dann ist Bretton Woods mit Sicherheit eine Top-Wahl.
Now we come to a stallion where I especially looked forward to, a real superstar. A main sire, as you must say, Foundation. A real special Grand Prix stallion. What makes this stallion so special in your opinion?
We have Foundation in our stable since he was a 5-year-old and did everything together right up to the Grand Prix level. He has several international Grand Prix successes, and it is simply amazing how he proved himself next to the sport as a top sire. Last year he won the Grande Prize and had a fantastic breeding season with several premium stallions. As a sire, he's just great.
Und er ist als Vererber, glaube ich, einfach top. We would have loved to welcome you this year to the Schafhof Stud for our traditional Breeders' Day. But due to the current situation caused by the COVID-19 virus, this is not possible. However, we are glad to be able to show you our stallions through this online presentation filled with some recent training as well as competition videos. We would like to begin with our main sire Foundation, who you can see here in motion in Doha in March 2020. In this impressive arena during the CDI 5-star Al-Sha Cup, we were able to finish 3rd and 4th in the Grand Prix and Grand Prix Freestyle. Although there were only a few prestigious dressage events in 2020, as you know, Foundation was able to win his very first Grand Prix in Herzlake at the end of the season with over 73%. In my opinion, those recently taken training videos you can see now demonstrate, although Foundation is already 13 years old, that he greatly improved over the winter in his security in different elements, his inner calmness, but especially in his permeability. The feeling which Foundation gave me here during the passage was simply incredible. He reacts on the finest impulses from the rider. It gives me a great joy to work with him every day.
Matthias, it is very interesting to watch you both during your training. I do not have the pleasure to watch you every day, but what really pops up today is that you ride Foundation on a simple bridle. Do you normally do this with experienced Grand Prix horses, or is it just for the video today?
We normally work our horses at home in general on a simple bridle. On the one side, it brings a lot of variety into the daily training, but on the other side, it is also a great way to check the permeability of the horses. This, dear breeders, is what defines Foundation in my opinion. His powerful, dynamic uphill movements. With Fiducioso we present you a son of our previously seen Foundation. His brilliant type, his flawless conformation, his alert and yet superior temperament, and of course his above average movements, is what characterizes Fiducioso as a typical son of our Grand Prix Stallion Foundation.
Matthias, this stallion is only 4 years old, but when you see his lengthways bend and especially his all-constant rhythm, you think he has already achieved his class goal for a while now.
That's right, he offers an awful lot. You could already admire this in his 14-day test in Schlickau last year. There he was at the top of the test field with a final grade of 8.9. I'm looking forward to Fiducioso as an educational horse and above all as a stallion.
Dear breeders, with these pictures I would like to warmly welcome you to Zuchthof Klatte. It is the 3rd year now that we have this cooperation with Henry Klatte, through which we would like to offer you some selected show jumping sires. This year our collection again consists of 4 star sires from the traditional station in Klein Rochaden.
We would like to begin with Ami's son. Ami's son is now a 7-year-old son by Armitage out of a Cicero Z Skippy 2 mare from Zuchthof Klatte. Here we see a stately model athlete with an athletic body and loose movement who already knew how to inspire others at his licensing in Fechter. Absolutely in sire type, he is presented to us here under the saddle of Otto Faske, who has already been able to present him at shows last season. This exceptional jumping athlete is equipped with great jumping ability, but also with necessary caution that will be needed for big courses in the future. This son of Armitage is already looking forward to the first starts in some international youngster tours. Ami's son represents one of the best jumping lines in the Belgian breeding. His mother, Just Me, competed in the finals of the World Championships for young show jumping horses in Lanaken under Peter de Vos at the age of 7. A stallion for whom the saying jumping ability doesn't go out of style could not be more fitting. This is the type he produced. An unbelievable amount of front leg and an easy sequence of movements characterizes Armison's offspring. Furthermore, they have the athletic body of their father. Chatago Blue from Chakato, Cartago Z and Mr. Blue, a 6-year-old from Zuchthof Klatte. This sire from Zuchthof Klattestadt in Kleinroschaden presents himself in the makeup of an absolute sire under his rider Susan Mikova. The son of Chakato, who is himself a son of Chaco Blue, seems to be equipped with unlimited jumping ability. This stallion brings repeatedly great reflexes to light, an absolute jumper for the big courses of the future. With victories and placings he already was able to inspire in the past. He was able to win his first M-level class for youngsters and therefore directly qualified for the Bundeschampionat in Warendorf. He passed the 40-day test in 2018 with excellent marks. The overall result was 8.28. His father, Chakato, qualified for the upcoming Olympic Games in Tokyo, and his mother, Campanula Z, has already produced several successful show jumpers up to 1,45 m. Chatago Blue is now everybody's darling and is on the way to becoming an absolute top sire of our stud. He is a real stallion personality out of the year 2005, a son by Balou de Rouet out of a mare Kenada Z of Quickstar and Domino. He's the team gold medalist of the FEI European Championships in 2017. Team and individual bronze medal winner at the European Championships of 2015. An outstanding 6th place at his very first Nation Cup for the British team. Those are only a few of the big successes that Balustar were able to celebrate with his rider Millie Allen. Meanwhile, he is highly successful on international level up to 1,60 m. This fine and in type standing Oldenburger is a blood-imprinted athlete with a big heart, quick reflexes and an enormous canter. Balustar stands for great carefulness and big potential. He is one of our big recommendations for the breeding season in 2021. Air King. He is the 7-year-old black-brown stallion Air King, the son of Air Jordan, out of the mare Believe Me by Contendro 1 Heartbreaker. This stallion combines 5 generations of best jumping genetics, because after Heartbreaker there comes even more excellent jumping blood with Voltaire and the unforgettable Granus. His offspring are especially standing out due to their type and correctness. In his very first year of offspring, he directly had 2 licensed sons. One of them was also top-priced horse at the ESI Cloud 7 auction. With these wonderful winter impressions of Air King, we say goodbye to Zuchthof Klatte and invite you to come by in person.
With Maddox Smart, you see the second youngster in our stallion collection. He has made an excellent progress last year under his permanent rider Antonia Östram. In 2020, he was victorious in his riding horse tests and successfully passed his stallion test in the Netherlands.
Matthias, I remember this 4-year-old youngster very well from the last year, when he was allowed to gallop in the spirited manner on the large field, and did it with seldom superiority. In terms of type, he developed amazingly, and especially in the side image of the silhouette, it has to be said, in contact to the rein and smoothness of the movement, he really is a class of his own.
Yes, you are absolutely right. This is also evident in his education during his daily training. This horse has a fantastic attitude and a great character that we can enjoy repeatedly. With Antonia, he has a rider who has adjusted to him fantastically and a stallion who will undoubtedly be an aspirant for the future decisions in the Pavo Cup. Maddox Smart is an incredibly self-contained, compact and uphill horse. With Thiago, we now present you a stallion that we as a family are particularly proud of. You are probably wondering why. Well, we bred him ourselves from a combination of Totilas and Wahayama Unicef, who both lived here on the Schafhof. Last year, Thiago was able to place himself in the S level several times at national events, for example here at the Dressage Festival on the Schafhof. Our goal for this year is to start him internationally at Prix St. George and Inter 1 level.
Matthias, if you look at the two of you in the 60-meter arena, it is not surprising to hear that this stallion is the brilliant combination of Totilas and your mother's unforgettable mare Wahayama. Now you also had the pleasure of riding both, Totilas and the mother at the time. What traits of these two special horses does Thiago have in common?
Yes, of course. That makes it very exciting and interesting for me. When you've ridden Totilas and Vayama, he just got a lot of will from both of them, got an incredible amount of attitude to work and also a lot of talent for the collected work that both had, and gave on to him is that he just wants to present himself in front of an audience at competitions.
Well, in this case too, you have to say that the winter work has paid off in a very special way. The entry into the Passage into the Piaffe class. How long did it take you, Matthias, to teach him this?
Well, as already mentioned, his parents put it in his cradle to a certain extent. But we used the winter work again to bring him a lot further, especially in terms of Piaffe and Passage, which you have just seen. And in the pierrettes, he has always shown an incredibly willingness to sit down, to carry himself, and thus to show its collecting abilities.
This is a picture, an impression that I was particularly pleased with, Matthias. I didn't even know you were an eventer.
Well, eventer not really, but what is right is that we hack a lot with our horses. A lot on the canter track too. It is just a nice change for the horses, and many things can be trained on the canter track, but primarily also simply have variety in the horses' training and to keep the fan factor high. With Destacado we present you our dressage final and my personal highlight. After he was already premium stallion at his stallion licensing in Pferden in 2015, we would like to show you with some competition impressions his extraordinary career from this now 8-year-old stallion. 2016, he won under Pascal Canciora the Bundeschampionat for the 3-year-old stallions. In 2018, he won the silver medal at the World Championships for Young Horses in Ermelo. I still feel joy when I think of the comment by one of the judges after his class.
I would call this poetry in motion. The trot is very natural, easy flowing, always super secure in rhythm.
In 2019, 1 year older, he was able to confirm his outstanding quality and development again in Ermelo.
Getting super excited for Matthias Alexander Rath coming into his final halt with the wonderful Destacado FRH. A Hanoverian stallion by Desperados out of a Londonderry mare.
What a spirit in this stadium, Destacado!
Our personal highlight was the victory in the final of the Nürnberger Burgpokal last year. The successes that Destacado was able to celebrate so far every year are for a stallion of his age unique.
Matthias, when we here during the first sunshine in 2021 look at the beautiful lightning chestnut, one thing is particularly noticeable, especially compared to the final of the Nürnberger Burgpokal, is his coolness that surrounds him now.
Yes, that's definitely true. You are not allowed to forget that Destacado was only a 7-year-old during the final of the Nürnberger Burgpokal, and the final was here at his home arena, so the tension was a little bit higher. However, we are also 3 months further now, which makes a big difference by a horse in his age, and he gained a lot of security in his canter work.
Matthias, when you see Destacado here in the arena, it comes to mind what Christoph Hess said during the final about him, that he's a real pattern student.
Yes, it could be not truer. You can see here in the Piaf Passage Tour, which is simply incredible, how he shows it so light-footed in the right tact for a horse of his age. Liebe Züchter,
I hope you liked our stallions. I would like to use this opportunity to give you some pairing recommendations for your mare.
die ein oder andere Anpaarungsempfehlung mit auf den Weg zu geben.
We would like to start with Foundation. Next to many top-priced auction foals, he already produced several riding horses, which were shown at the Bundeschampionat and World Championships for young horses. Meanwhile, his offspring has reached the Grand Prix level. His most impressive offspring came out of long-legged, blood-imprinted mares. Foundation is definitely a guarantee if breeders want to improve the potential of movements, as well as shoulder freedom in trot and canter. His offspring are showing a high level of rideability, as well as a great character. Due to the high number of his offspring that are successful in the sport and his dominant inheritance, Foundation is not only our main sire, but also a stallion personality of European importance.
Ist Foundation nicht nur unser Hauptvererber, sondern eine Hengstpersönlichkeit von europäischer Bedeutung.
The first images and videos of his foals are clearly showing his modern, long-leg type. We would definitely recommend Fiducioso to you when you would like to improve the movement, kindness and the frame of your foal. Fiducioso does not belong to our established sires yet, but his outstanding genetics brings us to recommend you this stallion.
Noch nicht zu der Riege unserer etablierten Vererber, aber seine hervorragende Genetik bewegt uns dazu, Ihnen diesen Hengst ganz besonders zu empfehlen.
In his offspring, we hope to see his own uphill canter and expression, as well as his very good walk. So far, his first foals, who always appeared in dark jackets, have confirmed this.
Dies wird durch seine stets in dunkler Jacke erscheinenden ersten Fohlen bestätigt.
You should definitely consider Bretton Woods when you would like to improve your mare in type and size. His offspring, from which are several now in a Grand Prix sport, are recognizable through the amazing knee action, which they inherited from their father. This gives them a lot of potential for Piaffe and Passage too.
Sie weisen dadurch viel Talent für Piaffe und Passage auf.
Painted Black himself shows an extraordinary high level of willingness to perform, which is with certainty reflected in his own very long career in the sport.
Sehr langen Karriere im Turniersport widerspiegelt. Dies gibt er auch durchweg an seine bis in den Grand Prix-Sport erfolgreichen Nachkommen weiter.
He just recently had 4 licensed sons in the Netherlands, which is more than any other stallion had. His Trakehner genes through Baldi and the Dutch influence with Ferro, in combination as a movement sire, are making him to a favorite one of the modern dressage horse breeding.
Und der holländische Einfluss über Ferro als Gangvererber machen ihn zu einem Favoriten der modernen Dressurpferdezucht.
Thiago passes his own beautiful type and a dark chestnut color onto most of his offspring. The first riding horses that are under the saddle now are characterized by a high level of willingness to perform, shoulder freedom and quality of movement. Thiago himself is just 1,67 m tall, but according to my own assessment of his offspring, it can be said that they consistently reach a normal size.
Nach einer eigenen Beurteilung seiner Nachzucht lässt sich jedoch festhalten, dass diese durchweg eine normale Größe erreichen. Für mich ist Thiago.
He not only inherits his unbelievable beautiful type, his outstanding presence, but also his modern way of movement.
Sondern auch seinen hochmodernen Bewegungsablauf.
His offspring are standing out against others through the impeccable interior, combined with a beautiful and correct top line. In addition to this, they all got a great attached neck. His oldest offspring are now under the saddle and show a high level of rideability, constant rhythm and balance.
Ich möchte Ihnen Destacado besonders empfehlen.
I would highly recommend Destacado to you if you would like to improve your foals in their frame and size. Furthermore, he should be your number one when it comes to improving the rideability and the walk.
Liebe Züchter,
Dear breeders, I hope you enjoyed our stallion presentation. I hope you gained some new knowledge, and I also hope that we were able to provide you with some new and interesting information for your 2021 pairing considerations. If you should have any further questions, please do not hesitate to contact us by phone or email at any time. We are happy to answer you any further questions you may have. I also hope and wish that we can meet again in person in the near future, live here with us at the Schafhof, and until then, we remain with best regards.
Live hier bei uns auf dem Schafhof, und bis dahin verbleiben wir mit herzlichen Grüßen.